Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody's Combine Chris coming at you today. We're gonna do some more Combine Derby watching together. So, stick in my intro music, try to figure it out here. Sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? But anyway, welcome back. If you like my content, be sure to subscribe and press the notification button down below. Tonight we're gonna watch Combine Derby, and this one was quite interesting because this was one of the Combine Derbies where most of the machines came in looking fresh that they've never run through before, and then by the end of it they were totally destroyed, and I can talk to you probably why that happened, but let's take a look. So this is, according to the person who posted it, this is a Scott County Fair from the 2022 season. So let's go ahead and get into it. First, we have a International 1460 hydrostatic. That one's ran before as a John Deere 7700. It looks like two 7700s. Most John Deere 7700s are hydrostatic. C600, it's an older one. Not sure. Massey 760, big freaking machine. John Deere 4400, smaller one, and then we got this little greener, the poor thing. It is in a level of machines that are much bigger. So look, and if you notice, all the machines are really good shape. So the only one really that seems to have gone through it was that basically the International. So take a note of that right now. Here's something that's interesting. So see this Massey Ferguson. They took a grain header, they cut it, and then they welded the auger onto it. But I don't know why they wouldn't support the side, which you're going to see in a little bit that this auger comes out. The auger gives padding. In general, Massey headers are not very good. So, that's why I run John Deere. My Massey. What's interesting is I actually sold the header off the Massey that I got because it was in way too good a shape. I would have felt guilty for smashing that one up. It has special SCH cutter bar on it, and it was in really good shape, so I figured we'll help somebody out. I'm the type of person who goes out of the way to try to get parts and help other people out, not just throw them away. Ends up helping out, making the combines break even, but anyway, now here we go then. So the John Deere 7700, big freaking powerful machine, gonna be able to push anyone around. 6600s are usually good. This is an older version because you can see on the fan. No, we don't see it, but you saw the fan doesn't have the concave on the outside. So that's like a generation 1 6600. That 6600s could be hydrostatic or gear driven. You can see that 6600 just got its the whole rear straw walker area just got ripped apart. The 7600, the Massey Ferguson 760, I should say, just lost its tire. But watch what happens. This person keeps driving. So everyone's still in good shape. This John Deere over on the far right is starting to lose its straw walker. The one in the middle got straw walker smushed. But overall, things are still in good shape. Looks like I'm looking onto it. Alright, so anyway, you're still going. So I drove the 1480. 1480 is a little bit bigger than the 1460. It's much heavier. I drove that in second gear, and it could basically push any machine around. It was pretty crazy. It ended up spoiling me because then a couple years later after I sold it, I drove one of the lightest machines that got pushed out of the arena in like 20 seconds. It was embarrassing. But anyway. So what do we got? So we got this little gleaner still struggling, poor thing. And with all the heavy guys, the 4400 is lightweight, but John Deere's are generally put well together. So just in general, John Deere Massey Ferguson combines are well put together. The Internationals probably not, but we've seen Internationals win. There's still, if you see that Massey Ferguson is still going around. Because if you can get the tire on the rim the right way, you can get some traction. It's when the rim starts spinning is when you start getting in trouble. That 4400 is cruising, but it is no match for the 1460. And so now his straw walker just got totally mangled. So now the machines are starting to show some wear. So, so here's what's interesting. So, they made a choice not to make the track wet. And so, because I can see it's pretty dry here. At the Monroe County Fair, they decided on purpose to make the track wet. And the reason for that is the machines slide around. And it does a couple things. It helps preserve the machines, because without machines, you don't have a combine derby. So what's interesting about this particular, the Scott County, wherever that's at, I think it's Minnesota or something, they're putting in the big and small machines together, which makes me think they only have one heat. And so basically, you know, it's fun to watch the machines destroy themselves, but it's also bad because what I see by the end of this, they're putting in like 3 years of wear, where at the Monroe County Fair, the wear is a little bit less because they cushion the blows with the track being wet. So I think that was their intent. That little Gleaner's already lost a wheel, but it's cruising around like nothing. The Gleaner's pretty lightweight, so it can move around. Now, the Internationals lose their back axle. They're so rear heavy that you're not going anywhere. And I think that's what happens to this particular one. It's also pretty significant when International loses his back axle. And you see the Gleaner smoking. It looks like his radiator is punctured, so that's just water burning off there. Right there you see the auger from the Massey Ferguson. Huge hit on the rear of the Massey Ferguson by that little 4400, I believe. Now look at the 4400 straw walker is already off. Normally on John Deere's you can get at least one or two derbies beforehand. A big 6600, he decided he can't drive very far, so he's just going to keep contacting people by backing up. You can see right there how the lack of traction, this wheel got caught up. And a Massey Ferguson 6600 is stuck together. Now see this little 4400, if he hits this 1600, it looks like he's going after the hydrostatic lines, which are right there. But it looks like they've protected that. You can see they put a pipe over it. That's one of the vulnerabilities of the International combines. Their hydrostatic lines are pretty low. And just out there. Some derbies allow you to protect them, other ones don't. So now you can see Massey's getting pretty beat up. This one looked new at the start, now it's looked like it's gone through a derby 3 years. Same with this one. Just the damage on these things are crazy. I'm sure the crowd loved it. But, you know, if you own a machine, you don't want to put in too much effort, you know, each year to bring it back, and that's where you start to get it. So one of the John Deere's lost its header. You can see even with that one small flat tire, it looks like he's got a rear axle. The Massey's still pulling along. That one might be a gear shift, but it also might be hydrostatic. It's hard to tell without getting a good shot of the gear shifter. Usually the ones with the red cabs are all gear shifted. But again, Massey's are pretty well-built machines. Same with John Deere's. Whites are usually really good ones too. It keeps hitting a big Massey. That's a 7700, so that's a pretty big hit. And you saw he got up under the rear axle there. The 760 Masseys are a little bit more well-built than the 550s, so their axles hold on a little bit more, but they're still not very well welded on. John Deere rear axles are usually welded on pretty well. But that International, he's got the weak axle on it. My 1480 Red Rhino had the heavy-duty axle. Oh my gosh, that thing took hits left and right. This one's not going to take many hits before it breaks. And on a 1400 series combine, that's pretty bad. If the rear axles break, that was one of my biggest fears, is that the rear axle would actually break off, and I would not be able to get that thing out of the arena. You can see his hydrolin's a little bit exposed there. If someone hit it right, they could probably get it. Now you start to see all the friction and all the gravity is starting to take the toll as the machines start going a little bit slower. So since the Internationals are hydrostatic, they start getting warmer, they start getting weaker. It looks like he's running in first. He's probably running in second gear, which I ran, which gives you a lot of power, but depending on the hydrostatic drives, where it, you're only going to get so much power out of it at some point. Yep, his header's starting to, he lost his spindle, or just a tire. You can see this John Deere right here, his header's bouncing up and down, so his bracing's already broken. But just look at the machines now, like, they're crazy, beat up. It's insane. It's fun. When I first saw this video, it was like, wow, this is fun. But again, if you run the derbies, this is not good because you're getting a lot of damage. You see his tire got flat, got caught into the dirt there. He's almost out of the arena, so I'm not sure that would affect much. I mean, that would happen anywhere. But if you have more mud, the machines slide around more. Now the International's getting beat up in the back. That International's got brakes. The big joke is the Internationals don't have brakes. My 1480 didn't, but see how fast he went around? Oh, his header's coming right off. You can... Oh. Look at that. You can, I don't know why that header's coming off, because if you spend enough time, you can set it up so that they don't fall off. But in some derbies, if your header comes off, you're out, because they want padding to protect the driver. Unfortunately, with the machine sticking, the big straw walkers, they can really get close to the cab. So you definitely need some type of a header to protect you. And so it appears that the rules of this derby, that doesn't exist. Because that 4400 is still going without any header. And the little 4400s are great machines too. They're great machines. Like John Deere's in general are great machines. Anything from the 66, 5400 and generation on up. The 55s were good, but they're not as good as that generation, the 70s. Again, now remember that 4400 you see there in the middle, that was basically looked brand new. And look at all the damage on that. Jeez, that's just crazy. Okay, you see the International is losing his tire. That's going to be bad. That's foreboding. Because now the rim's going to start digging in. Put a lot of pressure on that rear axle. And that 6600 is going to put pressure on himself just by driving it. Wow, look at that header. Just totally destroyed now. International headers are not very good in general. It's sort of crazy that little machine did that, but again, once you get a tire broken, that's what happens. Or when flat and it digs into the ground, and when it's so hard. So there's a pop tire. Heard it. Oh, it was the little ones, the 4400s. Probably came off the rim. You can go as long as that tire's still spinning. Once it starts spinning on the rim, then you're out, basically. You're out of luck. You're just going to go in a circle. But that person's lucky. So because he knows he can't go very far, he's going to try to hit with his rear. And doesn't have much rear anymore. That's a little machine compared to the other ones. But still good machine. No matter what, all of these would be. All the international headers completely off now. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Internationals looks like it's got a flat tire, apparently. So there's a lot of flat tires on this one, most likely a result of the ground being so hard. And see that 4400, he's still going. If you want to win, you keep going. That 7700 is still in fairly good shape compared to everything else. International keeps getting knocked up on its side. Oh, the 4400's burning some oil. It's sort of crazy to think, you know, these machines are from like the 70s. It means they're older as old as me. Oh, look at that. His rear axle just got knocked off. Again, most of the John Deeres were all brand new. So, yeah, this Derby's put like 3 years of wear on them. It's crazy. And what's good about this one is normally when you only have one heat, you know, you run the risk of the machines, you know, a lot of the machines going out early. But what's crazy about this Derby is these machines are running. Yeah, something's going on with the 4400 because it wasn't smoking like that before. So something happened with its engine. And we've got a lot of 4400s, so that's basically our primary machine at this point. And see, he's just backing into people, hitting people front because he knows he's on borrowed time now. When that rim starts spinning. You see that header on that other one is starting to lift up. That might have been the loose one anyways. But something's up with that one. Oh, look at the rotary thing on that one. The rotary screen on that big John Deere right in front of us. That one is, look at all the damage on that. That's crazy. Like now at this point, you know, these machines are all damaged. So I thought that International lost his rear axle, but I guess not. He must be, he's out, because he probably can't move, or the hydra's just gotten so weak that he can't move anymore. Those little gleaners are good ones. In general, I mean, most gleaners aren't very good, but you see a lot of those little ones around. And those little ones in a small heat, those little ones, I don't know. I'll take that back. Gleaners are a crapshoot. So we got these machines. Let me just see where things are at here. I mean, just look at these machines now. Look at that one. Look how damaged it is. And so what's happening, too, is you're seeing why the headers also need to be on, because you're getting more stuff into the machine, too. So having the headers on, it also protects the machine. It gives you a buffer. I'm going to fast forward just a hair, because we don't need to go 31 minutes. Let's see if we can skip a little bit. So this 4400 smoking even more. So, you know, something's getting progressively worse. It's sort of crazy that 4400, this little one over here, is still running. Like, that's just sort of crazy, if you ask me. Just given That the one drive tire's down. It's got a flat steer tire. This guy's trying to go into the hydrostatic line in the belts of this John Deere. John Deere's right by their tires have their belts and the hydrostatic lines for the hydrostatic machines. So that's what this guy's trying to do. His problem is he doesn't have a header, so he's getting close, but he's probably not going to be able to get into that, especially with the tires right there. But it doesn't mean he's not going to try. Yeah, I can't remember. That's not the, that's a 6600. Was that a 4400 too? I don't remember if that one's a 44. Could be one. What is that? It could be one. Looks pretty small from the back, so there's at least two 4400s. Maybe. Maybe it's another 4400. In general, that 7700 should be able to push him around. But I guess it could be the difference between hydrostatic and gear shift. Let's see what he's doing up there. Oh, look at all the headers on the ground. Like, that's just crazy. Like, this is insane. That's why this derby's insane. Like, it's just crazy. And now they decide all three of them are gonna just beat up each other even more. I think there's three running up, even up to this point. We got the big 7700. I think that's a 4400 also. Then we got another 7700. So we got two 7700s running 4400. So what's interesting is we've got three machines now still running. So, you know, as an audience member, this is a great derby because what you don't want is you don't want a derby to end in like 10 minutes. I've seen derbies end in like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, where all the machines hit and then all of a sudden everyone's out. So at least from the aspect of as an audience member, I would feel that this was a fun event. But as a combine owner, like, no. So that's the other thing too. Like me, I want to try to get as much out of it as possible. Some people, they're just there to win, and that's definitely a strategy. I'm not discounting it. That 4400 is in pretty good shape, comparatively speaking. Probably the best one, because its rear axle's still there. Its straw walker's knocked down. Other than that, it's still in pretty good shape. It doesn't have its header. I think it lost it as I was fast forwarding it. But compared that it's in a league that's not its own, it's doing pretty good. Let's fast forward a little bit more. And now the 7700's header's coming off. This one's good shape, holding on. What just happened? I think he just ran over someone else's straw walker. So now you see the sparks going, so they're just pushing one of the shields into the belts. Try to disable them. Whoa, look at all that damage there on that inside. That's crazy. The inside of that machine is backing up. Though that elevator right there, if that's what it's called, it's right over top the belt, so sometimes you push that and it gets into the belts, just tearing them up. That guy looks like he's possibly protecting his belts, the big 7700. There's a lot of stuff there. I don't see anything. So 7700s hydros are starting to just get tired. You can see the 4400, which is the gear shift, is still trying to keep its pace, but that 4400 still got all its tires. Looks like there might be some sparks happening on this one. I see something. Oh yeah, there's something going on this one. When he's got some metal rubbing. It's crazy that almost 29 minutes in now, these 3 machines are still running. That's crazy, and it just shows like the quality of John Deere's. We only got like 2 more minutes, so I'm gonna fast forward, see what's happening here. Boom. Oh, I think he just popped his tire. Something smoking on it. Not sure what. Could just be the belts. No, I think he, oh, he stalled out. And now he's trying to start it with starting fluid. The air filter's right there. There you go. But again, the 4400 is like the small model of the same generation. So the 7700s were the biggest machines, 4400s were the smallest, 6600s were in the middle of John Deere's at that time. Yeah, that 4400 is out. I think he broke a belt. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not looking good. He's pulling the hydro, nothing's moving. I think we got a winner. Something happened to his hydro line broke, or his belts broke, and he's gone. So there's the winner. You had a crowd cheering. Anyway, well, I hope you enjoyed my color commentary of Derby. I will try to find some more. There's a couple other ones that are quite interesting, picking out some derbies from around the country and just talking through them, just giving you some inside perspective on it. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, definitely subscribe and like this video, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications. So with that said, we'll see you.